It's December 7th, 2016, the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, otherwise known as the date that will live in infamy. This historical event is important to remember as many American soldiers lost their lives trying to defend our country on that fateful day. If you see or know a veteran, remember to thank them for all they have done for this country. With our country being the topic at hand, it is almost impossible to not talk about what has transpired in the past month, the election. It was definitely one of the most interesting races to date, but when the dust settled and the American people made their choice, there was only one winner, and that winner was Donald Trump. As you can imagine, the reaction was different for everyone. Some were excited as ever, while others were outraged at the result. Those who were outraged took out their frustration in many ways, including protesting against the president-elect. Most of these protests have stayed fairly calm and peaceful, but some have unfortunately turned violent. This election has had an impact on everyone, including students here at EHS. ETV Magazine reporter Lisa McGaffin gets you the story on the reaction to this election result and the protests of it that have become an ongoing occurrence.
Over the past month, you may have turned on your TV to see protests occurring all over America. These protests are due to the 2016 presidential election and its controversial result.
I think it's one of those things, everybody has a right to protest and demonstrate and things. I think part of that Trump brought on himself simply because of some of the rhetoric from early in his campaign.
You know, I think that's just unfortunately the expression of the time that we live in. And we've seen it from elections getting very ugly to what we're seeing in some of the people that are sharing their concerns.
I mean, the protests are honestly pathetic. Protest when your human rights have been violated, not when you don't get your way.
I'm always good with people wanting to express their First Amendment right to share their voice in any kind of meaningful way, as long as it never turns to criminal activity.
The outcome of this election surprised many and changed the way many thought about the election process.
I had expected Hillary to win from the very beginning.
To be honest with you, I was surprised. I did not predict it. You know, I thought Hillary, with her experience and with Trump's inexperience, I thought the American voter would kind of go with experience. But I think that maybe the outcome was more America being dissatisfied with our current administration, and then of course the email controversy and all that kind of also factored in.
So there's a big shift in what I've seen during this election, that everyone's unhappy, especially our youth. And we need to figure out why so many of them are both unhappy and why so many of them are driven to idealists like Bernie.
Some think that Donald Trump will be a good fit for president. Others say not. But either way, it seems like most are at least trying to give him a chance.
There's no telling. I mean, I can't really say he's going to be a great president. I can't say he's a bad president. I think for a while he's going to be remembered for what he said before he got elected.
I believe he'll be a pretty great president. I've read his 100-day plan. I'm really excited for it. And I also love the fact that he's refuting his salary. So that's a big save on taxpayers' dollars.
We have a kind of a special circumstance. Our president-elect Trump has a business partner and friend who owns a lot of property in Wichita. So at the end of the day, a Trump presidency could be very, very good for Wichita, Kansas.
For ETV Magazine, I'm Lisa McGaffin.
Thank you for that report, Elisa. The canned food drive put on by the EHS Student Council happened like usual this year, and as expected, Tiger Nation made a huge contribution, with every 6-hour class meeting their canned goal. This is the second time in 4 years that every single class hit their goal. Overall, Tiger Nation collected 1,521 cans and raised $3,735.61 in cash donations. Congratulations everyone on another fantastic contribution for a great cause. Another great event was put on for a great cause earlier in November. Eisenhower held its annual Suicide Prevention Week along with the student favorite Survivor Ball. This week is very important to everyone at Eisenhower, and especially important to one of our staff members, Counselor Kayla Russell. ETV Magazine reporter Greg Wright gets you the story.
Suicide prevention is one of the big things we promote here at Eisenhower. It helps students get help if they are having problems or suicidal thoughts.
I have lost students before to suicide, and I think that it's vital that we talk to kids about what they can do so that we can prevent it as much as possible.
Suicide prevention is something that is not talked about enough. I think that it's important that we make sure that everyone knows that there's a support system and they know the appropriate ways to handle it if they're having any issues. of just making sure that our students are educated and they understand that we're here for them, and that it's okay to talk to an adult or to one another to get help if you're having issues. We have people that come in throughout the year. Actually did have quite a few students who came out and said, I've had issues in the past, and we've been able to help them get help and talk to their parents and make sure that they were okay.
Survivor Ball was created to help promote suicide prevention and help kids speak out.
Several years ago, Miss Blue and Out Loud and Coach Blue started Survivor Ball, the tournament. They wanted to talk about suicide prevention, and we had lost students before. And so they started the tournament. Then a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to apply for a grant to do a bigger program. And so I did that, and I won a couple $1,000s. And that couple $1,000s has allowed us to buy the shirts for the teachers, get some training materials, and sort of expand things.
Students were excited for Survivor Ball this year as it brought tons of friendly competition.
The whole school coming together for a greater cause is probably my favorite part.
Survivor Ball is just a good way to raise awareness for suicide prevention. I think it's fun for the school to get together and unite in one thing and all play together, and I think it's just good for the whole school.
For ETV Magazine, I'm Greg Wright.
That's it for me in news. Next up is everyone's favorite Asa Antoldi doing what he does best, eating food.
Welcome back to, oh yeah? I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Carnegie Hall. That's right, Carnegie Hall. I wonder what it's like. A few select students here at Eisenhower are going to find out as they will be heading to New York in February to perform at, you guessed it, Carnegie Hall. Reporter Alyssa Brose brings you more info on this prestigious event.
Recently, Haley Wells, Alyssa Bamberger, Erin Towner, Michaela Lynch, and Allison Parker were the few select students here at Eisenhower to be selected into Carnegie Hall's Honor Series. They'll be leaving the first weekend of February on a Thursday and come back on Monday.
Yeah, that's really exciting. That's something I wanted to do since my freshman year, so I auditioned end of September, and then I got the acceptance end of October, and yeah, I put a lot of time into my audition.
It's super awesome. Like, there aren't really words to describe it, and this year I was just really nervous. I auditioned in the summer, so I kind of tried to ignore it, and then when I actually got in, I was just really excited. I was running around and telling everyone.
I'm really excited about flying into New York just because it'll be all snowy there when I arrive, and that's something I've always wanted to see. And I get to go see a Broadway show, which I'm really excited about.
Students throughout the world and the United States audition for a few select spots in an honor band and orchestra. Also, students can audition for a men or women's choir and a mixed choir.
I feel like it's quite an honor, especially since they were auditioned and made the top ensemble at Carnegie.
It's a great opportunity for them. People from all over the world audition for this honor, and the fact that we are continuously getting people into the honor series is something that speaks well of the talent in Goddard.
For ETV Magazine, I'm Alyssa Brose.
Wow, that was informative. How about I hand out some more information, such as Miss Box's 4th hour acting class going on an elementary school tour to perform their in-class show, Mother Goose, a story featuring multiple fairy tales, but with a twist. The class went to 4 different schools to perform for all the elementary school kids. It was sweet. Speaking of sweets, I couldn't help but take a sugary approach to the newest installment of, you guessed it, At the Table. Welcome to the 5th edition of At the Table. We're here today at Sugar Sisters. We're here with some of our closest friends, Mason Madsey, Big Bite, and Chastity DeBoard, otherwise known as Blue-Haired Babe. We're here today to eat some sweets and sweets and sweets, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. Well, I'm Austin. And I'm Noah. And this is At the Table. All right, we found a table to eat at. We have all these sweets here. I think it's time for us to dig in, right? Yeah.
So I had a Burex, a peanut butter M&M brownie, and a sugar cookie. Burex was really greasy, and the sausage was really good in it. And the sugar cookie was delicious because it had awesome buttercream frosting, and I love it. And the peanut butter M&M brownie was good, but it was a little bit like the chunks of peanuts in it was kind of hard to chew. Thanks to Austin and Noah from At the Table Incorporated for bringing me out here and paying for everything. So I rate the Burex with 8 out of 10 Queen Latifahs, and I give the sugar cookie a 9 out of 10 Queen Latifahs. But because of the peanuts and the brownie, I rate it a hard 6.2 Queen Latifahs.
You know, the macaroon was pretty good, really sweet, but it crumbled as soon as I bit into it. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10 Queen Latifahs. Now, the chocolate milk I had, delicious, but they didn't make it. So I'll give it like, you know, a 5 out of 10 just for having it. The Burex. Now, I love Burex. My family has made them before. They're just part of my family's culture. And Sugar Sisters, they did it justice. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 Queen Latifahs.
All right, so I got the oatmeal butterscotch cookie. It was pretty soft and butterscotchy, so that's a plus. If I had to rate it, I would rate it definitely a 7.5 Queen Latifahs out of 10 Queen Latifahs. And then I got the pecan pie. It was a baby pecan pie. And since it was a baby, that made it even better. So I'd give it a 10 out of 10 Queen Latifahs.
Now I had the cinnamon roll and the sugar cookie. And the cinnamon roll was very filling, very heavy. When I was eating it, I felt like I was gaining weight by the pounds. But it was really delicious nonetheless. And then the sugar cookie was kind of sweet, but I guess you should expect that since it has sugar on it. Lots of sugar. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and give the cinnamon roll 9 out of 10 Queen Latifahs. And the sugar cookie, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 Queen Latifahs just because it was just way too sweet. And I felt really weird eating it. That was amazing. Well, that concludes this edition of Oh Yeah? Join me next time where I'll blow your mind. Coming at you next is Ike Sports with your host, Sam Diebler.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle! Woo!
Welcome back to the final edition of Ike Sports for the first semester. I'm, of course, Sam Diebler, and I'm here to fill you in on everything sports here at EHS. First off, we have boys basketball. They're led, of course, by senior forward Matt Pyle, who has committed to the University of Nebraska-Omaha and looks to lead Eisenhower to the first basketball state title in team history. Ike Sports reporter Mason Madsey goes down to the court for the story.
Matt Pyle has been a varsity player for the men's basketball team for 4 years and hopes to lead the team to another successful season this year as a senior.
I mean, I would love to win a state championship for my senior year, but we're just going to take it one game at a time and try to win league and sub-state and then go to state.
You know, he's worked on his strength, you know, and basketball is such a physical game that you got to get stronger, you know, and that's one of the things college coaches like most about him is that he is physically stronger than most guys at this level, and he's prepared for the college game. But he's also worked on his jump shot, you know, so he can go out to the perimeter a little bit more, and we expect him to shoot a little bit more of the 15-foot range.
During the offseason, Pyle worked on many parts of his game that he will use to benefit the team this season.
I worked on my footwork and my outside shot most because I knew that would be able to draw me away from the basket and bring out my defenders to open up more space on the floor.
Matt Pyle is a new recruit for the University of Nebraska-Omaha. The coaching staff and Pyle are excited to get to work after the conclusion of this year.
Well, you know, I think that one of the things that after watching Matt play as a junior and then watching him over the spring and summer, he has a very, very high competitive spirit. I mean, he's an energy guy, and I think that those are really hard to find. So I thought that was one of the main things. I think he's a competitor.
I mean, I had it down to UMKC and Omaha, and I really like both programs. But when I went on my visit to Omaha, like I really liked the people out there, and I felt like I fit in with the guys better up there.
I mean, it's kind of sad because you've been playing ball together pretty much your whole life, and he's going off to college and everything. But best of luck to him, and hope he does well.
For Ike Sports, I'm Mason Matzy.
Thanks, Mason. Well, now it's on to girls basketball. The team is coming off a sub-500 season and is going to rely on junior Macy Omley and senior Mallory Miller to lead a largely inexperienced team to an improved record. IKE Sports reporter Trey Greening got to the story on the girls basketball team.
The girls basketball team are facing problems with small numbers again this year. They still plan to have a successful season.
Okay, what we'll be looking for is we'll look for some young kids that hopefully step into some roles that some others have played in the past. The upperclassmen that we do have are very good players, so we look to them to provide the scoring. But yeah.
I think eventually there's going to be some middle schoolers that are good and come up, and just everyone having positive attitudes, and they think it's more fun, so then people will like it more.
The girls are planning on Macy Omley and Mallory Miller to help lead the team this season.
Mallory and Macy, we're going to have them on the floor at all times, and then we're going to look for a lot of players to kind of step up into some key positions, mostly defensively, so we can stay in some ball games.
Hopefully we have a more successful season this year. I feel like if we continue to work hard and make it more fun, then we should have more numbers in the future. Upperclassmen, we're going to have to set a role, and the underclassmen are going to have to realize that they have a spot to fill and continue to work hard.
With passion and the willpower to put in hard work, the team is going to strive to be better than the year before.
The kids have great attitudes. The kids that I have out are hardworking. So I expect we're going to compete every night. Whether we win or lose, I think we're going to go out and give it our best and see what happens.
For IKE Sports, I'm Trey Greening.
Nice job, Trey. Finally, we're going to talk about wrestling. Now, wrestling is a different sport than most. Wrestlers have to constantly control their weight to stay in their weight class. IKE Sports reporter Michael Greening went down to the mats to get you the scoop on how wrestlers lose that weight.
Wrestling season is here, and many are looking to be competitive this season. But before that, the wrestlers will have to drop weight to compete where they want.
Cutting weight allows you to wrestle at maybe less competitive weights, gives you a better chance of winning, especially when we get closer to state. People are really looking for an easy way to get into state.
Increase the competition at a lower weight, try to get the best possible outcome.
Losing weight isn't easy for anyone, but some methods are a little extreme while others are rather simple.
The best way is that you're going to train it off. I mean, that you're going to be in the room, you're going to be working hard, and try by doing that and burning the extra calories and things like that, you're going to burn the extra calories that you need to be able to reduce your body weight by a little bit.
Some people try to overdo it and not eat a couple meals, but that just makes them weaker, not as good as an opponent.
Yeah, you can get dehydrated and going to the sauna and running a lot, and that makes a big impact while you're wrestling.
The expectation is higher than in the years prior, and the team is ready to take that challenge.
As the overall team, the first thing is that we're working hard and we're there and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and honestly, real pleased with that this year. And of course, we always want to do the best we can at filling out all our weight classes, so that gives us the best opportunity to be able to score points for a tournament or for a duel as well.
For IKE Sports, I'm Michael Greening.
Well, that about wraps it up for IKE Sports. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at IKE Sports News for everything on EHS athletics. Also, make sure to stay tuned next semester for even more ETV Magazine goodness. For IKE Sports and ETV Magazine, I'm Sam Diebler, and we will see you next time.